Now, the next thing we are looking at is pricing as done in road transport. There are several components that go into the cost calculation of a road freight transport. Costing is the gathering together, recording, and the analysis of all the relevant expenditures and revenues resulting from the purchase and operation of an asset. So, when you cost something, anything that goes into the acquisition of the item is what we call you have to cost. So you gather together, record, and analyze all the relevant expenditures and the revenue resulting from the purchase and operation of that particular asset. Phase 1 is the gathering process. Phase 2 is the allocation of these gathered relevant expenditures and revenues to each job. That's phase of operation. Phase 3 being the expression of the various terms as a cost and or revenue per mile. So when you are going to use the vehicle, how much kilometer is it going to cover per ton, per day, per hour, or any suitable standard, which can be applied to estimate the cost of individual jobs. The drivers, driving, whatever, all those things should be costed. Every source of cost must be identified. Cost must be allocated in a consistent manner, not in a haphazard manner. Not because you look at the face of somebody and the nose is not good. Like my nose, then you give me any amount. But it must go with a certain laid down principle. No matter what the color, the height, the nose, whatever, something, the procedure must be there. Cost must also be mentioned to the monitored, must be monitored so that it will not fluctuate. The cost must be controlled in a predetermined plan. There should be an easy identification of profitable operations and activities, and that is the advantages of costing. And it allows you to relate the profit or otherwise of two different or more operations. Any areas of waste or loss are clearly depicted. So it makes available to the company information or data to enable her reduce cost, set the rates and charges, and they can effectively manage, plan, and control the activities. So, to arrive at an agreed pricing policy or price for a particular job, various gathered costs needed to be apportioned by the activity that has been done. Is there a local service, a private hire, a long haul, like long distance, like from here to Boko or Niger? Is it within Accra city or Tama city limit or Kumasi city limit? Or is it a specific work contract that has been carried out? Then you cost it. Then individual routes or journeys within each activity, be it contracts or a scheduled service. So by cost centers, all activities out of a single depot will be taken care of. By individual vehicle, by this method, appropriate costs are allocated to each vehicle, and the total operating cost per annum, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, will be arrived at. So So the total operating cost concept, it is the contribution of all costs into a final figure. This information forms the basis for assessing revenue earning and profit performance and for assessing individual quotations. So standing and overhead costs are usually calculated on a time basis. So cost per year, a week, etc., an hour, whatever. Whereas running costs are calculated on the mileage, the kilometer that you have covered on the basis, resulting in the cost per mile or kilometer. So, there are different principles of pricing by road transport. We have what we call the cost plus. Here the basis are that the cost of the operator plus a standard margin for profit, for instance, 15% cost plus will be slapped or applied. Single pricing, we have the flat rate or a fixed rate per mile. This can be based on a marked information, for instance, 10 cedis per kilometer. If you go 20 kilometer, you multiply 10 by 20, give me 200. That's a single pricing. And flat rate. Then the differential pricing or price discrimination. You apply different rates to different segments of the market. You see this man, he's a white man, he's a handsome man, he's an ugly man, or he resembles your uncle. He resembles a lecturer for you. Oh, this man, I knew him. So you differentiate. It's not a flat rate anymore. Oh, he's giving me a lot of cargo, so let me reduce for him. So you use different rates. That's what we call differentiation of the segments of the market. Different persons, different types of the market. So main cost complements to be calculated in road transport are fuel cost per liter in cedis, those road user charges per kilometer, visa for driver, and all those things. Fixed cost per truck depending on mileage or year. The truck trailer depreciation, that one, so long as you continue to drive the car, you depreciate. Then you lease the cost per year. The tires, the maintenance and repair. Then you also take care of the vehicle taxes, the truck liability insurance. All these things must be cost, they are fixed, and you cannot vary them. So you pay to the authorities, you buy time, the amount is there, taxes. When you go to maintenance, sometimes the mechanics, when they use the screwdriver to tie your Benz, the cost will be different from Hyundai. Take note. Then there's also the administration cost, those who work in the administration office. So you see that costing per mile is based on the average of 40,000. There's a table. Road tax, those are the standing costs. Road tax, insurance, fuel cost, loan repayment, depreciation, subtotal, running costs, fuel, tires, maintenance, lubricating, subtotal, overhead cost, cost per annum. So these things will give you the running cost, and that which you can use to arrive at how you can cost So we have different types of calculation methods. The cost per week is total operating cost. The number of working weeks, cost per day, total operating cost. The number of working weeks, cost per hour, cost per day. Then you have basic working day, cost per day, total operating cost, total cost per month. Thank you. We have come to the end of yet another one model